Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Steven here with Paycheck to Paycheck, and today I want to talk to you about the relationship between your time and your money and why I feel it's so important for you to understand this relationship to carry you even further in your life. So without further ado, let's get started. This is going to be my first video on this channel, and so I just wanted to kind of do a little introduction of myself, just to kind of give you guys a baseline of me, where I come from. That way, maybe you can relate with me a little bit, and maybe you can kind of use my story to help propel you even further through your life. So, that being said, I was raised alongside my sister by my grandmother, and we were raised on welfare. And being raised on welfare, it was very embarrassing, going to the store and being told that we didn't have enough food stamps on our EBT card to cover our purchase, or also just not having the funds at the end of the month to cover basic necessities like our light bill, just other everyday stuff like that. So that was something that I never wanted to have to deal with myself. I never wanted to have to struggle with money. And so I made it a goal, or my own personal goal, to make so much money in my adulthood that I would never have to worry about struggling with money again. But what I didn't realize at the time was that it didn't really matter how much money I made, because I would still be living paycheck to paycheck if I didn't change my behavior. What do I mean by that? And I guess the easiest way to put it is I've worked in a bunch of different industries. I've been in the military, I've worked in healthcare, I've worked in retail, I've worked in sales, now I work in property management, and I've made as little as $5,000 in a year all the way up to like $50,000 a year. But, all throughout that time, I was always making the same, it was always the same story. I was always living paycheck to paycheck. I would always have way too much month left at the end of my money, and I didn't really know where to go from there or like how to change things. I always thought it was just because, more money, more problems. At least that's what I was told by people whenever I would ask them, oh my goodness, you make so much money. Whenever I'd be talking to doctors at work, I'd be like, oh, well, you make, $250,000 a year. You're probably not hurting for anything. And then they'd be like, well, I have this student loan, I have that student loan, I have my rent or my house payment, I have my car. And, they still had a lot of money left over, but they were also spending a lot of money as well. I remember one doctor, whenever I was going through my clinicals in nursing school, told me that his monthly payment on his student loans was about $8,000 a month. $8,000 a month. That is $96,000 a year. That's more money than your average family here in the US makes in a year. And he was paying that every single year for his student loans. So if he was paying that much, but he made $250,000, that means at the end of that he was left with about $150,000, and we haven't even gotten to his car payment yet, or his rent, or anything else. And it was kind of the same story for me, just not nearly on the same scale as the doctor, because I wasn't a doctor. I wasn't making those 6 figures a year, but I was still making 5 figures. And that's the thing is, the doctor and I both were paycheck to paycheck. Granted, he could afford nicer things than I could. We were still, one paycheck missed from, being on the street, essentially. So that is something that really kind of got me to start thinking about money and, what is money? How does money relate to our time? And how is this beneficial to you to learn this information, and how can you use it to carry you a whole lot further through your life? So that is the purpose of this channel. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I do not work in the finance industry. I'm nowhere in that professional space. These videos are not giving you any financial advice or being like giving you any like stock picks or anything like that. That's not the purpose of these videos. These videos are literally just for entertainment and education purposes only. I just want to share my story with as many of you as I possibly can, so that maybe you can learn from me and propel yourself even further to your ambitions and your dreams in this wonderful life that we all kind of share in. So if you have any questions for me, make sure that you leave those in the comment section down below. That way I can respond to any questions that you have there. If it's a really good question that I think I could make an entire video out of explaining, then I'd be happy to do that. And I will even mention you in that video just so you know that that video is made in response to your question. So ask away. I'm an open book. If I don't have an answer, I will get you an answer. I will do my best to find you an answer. But yeah, that's kind of where we stand on this whole channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. And tap that like button if you found this video to be, a little insightful or intriguing. And hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos coming up. I'm going to be doing a video on how your money earned from work isn't actually nearly as much as you think it is. And I'll also be doing other videos on like what are dividends, concepts of how you can invest your money so that you can retire in like 5-10 years time, and not have to go and slave away at a job that you may or may not like to buy things to just impress people that you may or may not care about. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. And remember, if you never stop learning, then you will never stop earning.